Welcome to the 190 Vision channel. This is a training for you, university. This topic for today, animals. Do you know what our real connection is with them? Stay tuned to learn more.
University, huh? All right, hon. Speaking of animals and relationship with animals, I remember we were just getting close as far as working together.
Yes.
And you took me to meet your parents because I said if I'm going to work with you, I have to meet your parents first, right?
Correct.
And
This wasn't regular business, by the way, folks. It was not with any of the spiritual work that we do now. Okay.
oh, right, good point. I was not into that spiritual thing then, so not at all. So anyway, and I remember going with you to meet your parents.
Right.
And you guys had a dog.
Yes.
And you bent over and you were kissing this dog, and this dog was licking your face. And I just thought that was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen.
Yes.
You want to explain that?
Jasmine was the name of the dog. I've always had pets growing up. I love animals. I really enjoy them. What else?
Well, aren't you going to say the rest of that? Because we had a conversation about that afterwards.
My husband was very disgusted. Ew, you know all the bacteria that's on your face now? Well, he wasn't my husband. He's like, I can't believe you let your parents' dog do that to you. Oh, that was just so disgusting. And then you kissed it too. It doesn't take regular baths. It's a dirty, filthy creature. Oh, he just went on and on and on. And I was like, well, my experience is that people do this with animals. So what's wrong with it? Then he had a whole bunch of jokes to go with it too. And he just kept going on and on about it. Not just for that week or that month. Even to this day, he goes on and on about it. My perspective on animals has changed a lot. My interaction with them has changed a lot from different things that have happened in my life, more so like allergies that all of a sudden appeared. So that's my
But the point
story.
is that you have a lovely relationship with animals.
I do.
And for me, I'd rather stay away from them.
Yes.
So,
But I think that goes back to your karma.
well, let's discuss that a little bit.
Yes,
right?
you see, in a past life, I'm happy to tell this story because he sent in messages like, do you know your wife is listening? It was so great. Anyway,
What are you talking about?
This one time you were doing a reading for yourself and you're going through all these different things that were affecting you. And one of the things was allergies and where the allergies came from. And in regard to animals, it came from a past life where my husband was an animal poacher.
And you just
Trophy
stress that
animals.
word, poacher.
Yes! Because I think it's hilarious. I can't imagine you as an animal poacher because you're so nice and loving toward our dogs.
See, but that goes back to what you see in one lifetime. You forget that there are other lifetimes.
Indeed.
And that's where people get so confused, right? Because
Yes.
they say, but how could that be? That can't be, because look at me, I've done everything right in this lifetime. But that's this lifetime?
Right.
That's previous lifetimes. And that was like me, in this lifetime, yes, I treated them nicely, but in that one, they were running from me. They probably heard me coming and they took off.
Indeed. So that's why my husband, really physically, he's unable to really tolerate chicken. Eating it, smelling it. Pork, definitely not. Beef, So he just really, and then being around animals, he immediately starts sneezing, or, well, not anymore.
Right.
Because a lot of work has been done on that. But he used to have really bad reactions to animals. So.
And then we still have pets because our kids love
Right,
pets.
we
And
still
you do
have
too.
pets. I do. I'd still like to get another bird or some other animals, but I agreed with my husband, no more animals.
Yes. Too many animals in the house already.
We have 2 dogs.
That's enough.
No, it's enough. And they're outdoor dogs. They love being outdoors. They don't even want to come in the house, which is great.
True, that is true. So anyway, so what's the topic here?
It's really our spiritual connection with the animals.
Okay. So what's the purpose of animals then in somebody's life? If we let's start from there.
I think that's a great question. To me, I think it's more for a companion as far as having that all constant unconditional love, because that's what animals give you as long as you're giving it to them.
Right. Even when you're not giving it to them.
Right.
They still do it.
And just to have a being around that you can talk to. I mean, I talked to my animals all the time when I had them when I was growing up. So I think that's all part of it, just for a companionship and love.
From my understanding is that one is protection.
Okay.
They do offer protection. Then of course the unconditional love is there, and that's for individuals that, in many cases, you'll see that individuals that are very close to animals, normally, and again, not every case, right? But in many cases, that's what I'm getting at. In many cases, there are emotional situations that emotionally they're working on becoming stable.
Okay.
And that's where the animals come in. The animals give them that emotional stability. So that they form that relationship with the animals. They're close to them. They know the animals will listen, right? They don't fight back. That's where unconditional love comes in. So for someone that feels like they're normally ignored, they're not heard, having a pet helps with that. For someone that feels like they've been unloved for a long time, that's where a pet comes in. So, and then of course for someone that feels unsafe, or maybe they're not even feeling unsafe, they are somewhere where it's unsafe. Animals are very good at protecting who they consider their best friend, right?
Yes, indeed.
So those are three aspects that animals definitely are created for, to handle those things on our behalf, or to help us out with those things.
Now, animals typically have I say that because not all animals do, but typically they have short lifespans. Those are more of the common household pets, like any of your guinea pigs, gerbils, hamsters, birds, well, most species of birds, canaries, parakeets, the smaller ones, cats and dogs. People have all different kinds of animals, but those are the main ones that most people have, and they do have short lifespans. So then the question comes up, okay, well, I really loved this pet. I felt such a strong connection with it. What happens now that it's gone, that it's died?
Well, the first part, and we're taking the teachings approach, right?
Yes.
Is what we're doing here. This is not our opinion. We're getting this from Kutumi, by the way.
Ah, thank you, beloved Kutumi.
And one of his embodiments was St. Francis of Assisi.
Yes.
So, and he's known for communicating with animals. So this is all coming from him. And what he's saying is that just like in situations, it's interesting, right? We normally record, we don't hear our dogs barking a lot. Today we're recording about animals and this barking.
Here's Snow barking away.
It has to be in that video. So if you hear that barking, it's the tiny one that's making all that noise, by the way.
Yes, she's like 30 pounds little dog.
So anyway, just like with us as human beings, someone comes into our life at a specific time for a specific reason. When that is balanced or when that is over, they move on. And just like how we then want to hold on to that person, it's like, oh no, don't go, I don't want you to go, I miss you. It's because we misunderstand the relationship. Every relationship has a specific purpose. And when that purpose has been fulfilled, the person moves on, so you get the new energy into your life, the new frequency that will take you even higher. But again, people that don't understand, they get all upset. Why did that person have to go? Why does this person not want to talk to me anymore? Same thing with the animals. They come into your life for a specific reason and for a specific time frame. And just like with human beings, or when you have a relationship with a human being, individuals then get so attached to the animal that when the purpose is over, you really don't need the animal any longer. You don't not the animal, but the relationship any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for the animal to move on. So the animal gets sick and dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're all sad, and you want to replace the animal with another bird or cat, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only because we misunderstand the whole concept. As human beings, we tend to want to be attached to things, you know. And the Buddha teaches us that one of his laws is what? The law of detachment. You should never be attached to anything.
Right.
Because they're worldly things, you know. God is the only necessary aspect of our life, and that's all we should be working and holding on to. But instead we hold on to cars and houses and
A lot of material things.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so the same thing happens with animals, and that's why people have all these questions that come up about animals. Why did my pet die? Well, because it was time for it to die. And I know that sounds cold coming from me, right? But that's really what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're supposed to get another pet, you'll know for sure that that is supposed to happen. It's like with us, we already had a dog,
Yes.
and then
We have Balto. He's like a little over 100 pounds, so he's a big dog. He's a nice big dog, a very protective dog.
But even when we were to get Balto,
Right.
the way it happened is not
Indeed.
something that we expected, or we couldn't even plan for that.
Nope.
And the way we got Snow was the same thing, and that's how you know, okay, this is supposed to happen.
Yep.
I won't go into details about it, but that's just the way you know. You
He
don't
just
go.
appeared.
You don't go searching for a new pet. You know, it doesn't happen that way. And in one of the books that Saint Germain wrote, he writes about the one individual that was protected by, I think, a panther, a black panther, while he was in the forest the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And once he was out of the forest and then he met Saint Germain, the black panther disappeared. And he asked, well, why does panther keep following me? Well, it was protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
But once you didn't need the protection anymore, the panther disappeared. It's the same thing in our life. You know, the animals will disappear once their function has been fulfilled.
Yep.
And people should really realize that. You know, it's nothing to be sad about. Just like how when our loved ones die, right? We say you shouldn't be sad. People still cry, but you should understand that's the end of one cycle. That doesn't mean the person's dead, though. They just went to a different dimension.
Right.
The animals go to a different dimension as well.
Well, just like we were given a cat shortly after we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Odie was what the kid's named cat. And Odie was with us for 4 or 5 years. And all of a sudden one day, Odie just died.
We just found it dead. Actually, Junior was going to die.
I knew he was dying because of his behavior. And so I just kind of made him comfortable in a box so that he was contained in case anything happened. And he just died. The kids were a bit sad. You know, they didn't cry about it or anything, but they understood, you know, everything happens for a reason. Pets are part of our lives for whatever amount of time for a certain purpose. And for our kids, they loved the cat. They loved petting him and chasing him. They had a great time with him. But they understood, you know what? This is done. He helped us adjust to our life here in this new state.
It was new.
It was.
We just moved
Everything
here.
was new here. So that adjustment helped them, and they were fine. Everything was good after that.
Right. So now you go back to, you said that people ask questions about their pets.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into these questions.
Oh, what happens when their pet dies?
You bury it.
What happens on the spiritual
I
level?
was kidding with that.
We had to bury our cat twice. Our dog kept digging up the cat's body and moving it around.
Balto was like, don't go yet. I'll dig you up, buddy. Anyway, so just like it's an animal, so of course it goes where?
It goes to heaven.
To a level of heaven, right? You know, it goes there. Now, once it's there, then you decide if you want this pet to join you again in a different embodiment, right? The pets don't decide that, by the way, as people might think they do. You're the one that decides that,
Okay.
you know, because you're the one that you make decisions. Animals, they survive. So then you're the one that makes that decision. So then the next question would be, So does that mean then that an animal could be with us in more than one lifetime? An animal can be with you for as long as you choose it to be, because you're the one that makes the decision. So if you want your pet dog to come with you in another in another life, another embodiment, it will be there.
Okay, so then the question is, what if I had a dog as a child and I want that same soul to come back again as a dog to me? Would that happen? If I want that to happen?
Yes, because it's still in heaven, and you'll see it there.
In the same lifetime?
Or in the same.
Right, like, okay, I had the dog Jasmine with my parents
And
when I
then
was a
Jasmine
kid.
died.
And then Jasmine died.
And then you're still alive.
And then I'm still alive.
No, that's not happening.
Jasmine doesn't come back to me?
No.
Okay.
Because if that were to happen, Jasmine is making a decision to be with you. Jasmine can't do that.
Okay, I thought maybe I would have made the decision that, Jasmine, you're going to be with me throughout my entire life, so you just keep dying and coming back to me.
But that's not how it happens in heaven, does it?
Well, there you go, folks. That's now how it happens.
You're up there.
Uh-huh.
So do you think it goes like this? Okay. Guess what? You want to re-embody now? Yes, I do. Jesus, I want to re-embody now. And I'm going to go live in the United States. I'm talking about us now, right?
Okay.
And you're the one making your plans.
Uh-huh.
I'll be born in the United States. I love those two people there. They'll be my parents, and they're parents in this lifetime.
Right.
And then, but we're up there, and you're like, oh, but you're my twin ray. And we're going to meet up in this, we're going to re-embody together, okay? And like, sure, let's do that. All right, but I decided I'm going to go be born somewhere else, right? Not in America,
Uh-huh.
but we're going to meet up in America,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
But then up there, they gave you a choice. You think this is the way it goes? Like, well, guess what? You guys will get married, and then you'll get divorced, and they'll get married again, and they'll get divorced again. Is that the kind of choice you'd make when you're in heaven?
No.
Exactly. So it's the same thing with you're not going to kill your dog 5 times in heaven, right?
Got
Get
it.
the point?
Got it.
So that's
So
why.
now, okay, since the animal won't come back again in this lifetime with me, can that animal, once it gets up to heaven, go be a part of someone else's family?
It's not the animal that makes that decision.
Well, can somebody else choose to have that animal?
What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, because they see the animal, and
Uh-huh.
keep in mind, one animal doesn't stay with one family,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to adoption place for animals. They're all there, and you just go
Right.
to adopt one. You're borrowing one for the meantime. It's just like us. People don't think about that, but if you think that we always have the same kids in our different lifetimes, which in most of our embodiments we see.
We have, but I know we haven't as well.
But you know that other souls have rented our kids.
Yes.
See, and so I call it?
Yes,
You rent.
rented.
Because God is, we're all God's children.
Uh-huh.
And that's the part that we miss as parents. People always say, well, that's my child. No, it's not.
Right.
You're the guardian of that child. That's God's child.
Well-
So stop acting like you own the child, right? Because you're just renting. It's like a rent-a-child business. You're just really borrowing the child in the meantime, and you have to do the best job possible with that child. It's the same thing with the pets. You're borrowing
Balancing
the
your
pet.
karma with them and guiding them.
That's correct. It's the same
Yes.
thing with the pets. You're adopting the pet for a short time.
I've met 2 sets of individuals, married couples, in my life who have been parents of mine in previous lives.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
I know! It's exciting to
We
me.
won't talk about that here.
No,
but
that's a different topic,
I'm
different
curious
video.
about that, but okay, that's good. So does it answer your question about the pets?
Yes, that answers my question about the pets.
That's
What
it?
happens
Those
in
are
the
all your
spiritual realm. Karma with pets? Are we creating karma when we kill animals? Is a question that's come up.
Well, you started this whole video with a story about me.
Yes.
So you can answer that
do
question.
create karma if you're killing them for the purpose of like what happened in my husband's previous life for trophies. For people to buy their skins or their head stuff,
Right.
things like that. But as far as to eat and survive,
To be used
to be
properly.
used, yes, to be used properly, is their karma created there?
No,
Okay.
no, it's not. Remember, there's a story with Saint Germain where the one individual went with Saint Germain to visit this one individual
Who owned a cattle ranch.
who owned a cattle ranch, and he was a student of the teachings.
Right.
And then the individual asked, well, how could that be? I thought we're not supposed to eat meat.
Or kill living
Or
things.
kill living things, right? And
Right.
remember what he was told?
He was told, well, this is the gentleman, the farmers, the cattle ranch farmers' karma.
Exactly.
This is what he's to do here.
His purpose in this lifetime
Right.
was to provide meat and dairy to the community. All right, so as long as that's your purpose, you're not creating karma at all, because he's doing something positive with the animal. It wasn't like me that was killing and probably leaving the carcass there, just taking off one part and selling it. That's some serious karma there. You know?
Now, there are some cultures to this day who take animals and sacrifice them for different reasons.
Right.
Is that creating karma?
Well, that's a matter of level of consciousness, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Because if you truly believe that what you're doing is right and you're sacrificing so you can be closer to God, how is that creating karma?
That
No,
wouldn't be creating karma
exactly.
because you believe that it's helping you to strengthen your relationship with God.
That's correct.
I see.
Just like how when the Mayans were sacrificing virgins, they're actually killing human beings,
Uh-huh.
right? But they truly believed that by doing that, they were building that relationship, they were strengthening the relationship with God. They're not creating karma at all,
Got
because
it.
that is their belief. Now, us looking from the outside, we can judge it all we want because we see from a different perspective.
Right.
That's why you have to look at things from the perspective of the individual and not yours.
Got
There
it.
are different levels of understanding, and the karmic law works based on your understanding and your intention of the law. See, it's all about intent. If your intent is good, for example, I could go and shoot somebody, right? And I'm creating karma. That's one of the worst karma you can create, to take somebody's life, right?
Right, right.
But if there's an individual that went and killed somebody because he believed that he was guided to do so, you know, like mentally unstable, whatever that might be, right?
Okay.
And he killed somebody because he believed that by doing that he would get closer to God. He's still creating karma, but nothing close to what I did.
Oh.
Because his intent was to get closer to God.
But both of them are still premeditated, so wouldn't that still...
Bingo.
So
But
that's where the karma
intent-
still comes in?
That's where the intent is different, though.
I see. So
My
the-
intent was to kill somebody.
your intent was just to do it just because you wanted to do it.
Exactly.
Whereas the intent of the
Or
other
maybe because I
person
hate
is...
the person.
The intent of the other person is that it's going to help them
And get closer
get closer to God.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That puts a whole new spin on some
Right.
things for me.
That's why they have individuals that, you know, like there were all these bad things about the Muslims that blow themselves up, you know, because they've been promised that if they do that, when they go to heaven, you know, they'll get all these blessings.
Right,
And
right.
then we can't understand why people do that.
Uh-huh.
But if that's their belief system, that's why they're doing it.
So the same thing with the animals, because that's what we're talking about, are the
That's
animals.
correct.
So it all depends on your intent with the animals
That's
when
correct.
it comes to these sacrifices.
Right. You know?
Okay.
So that's it. Does that answer that?
That
I hope it
answers
does.
that. That answers all the questions that I had.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you who's watching this video, please be sure to let us know. Send us a message, comment on the video, and we'll see you next time. Remember to subscribe and like this video. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others on the same journey. Get help by visiting our website 190vision.com. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the donate button, which is at the bottom of each page of our website.